And my name is Carver. It's in my genes. I have to do it. My whole idea is to show the heritage of the wood. So this is an old beam, and you can see that it was an old beam. Part of it was rounded and part of it was flat. And then it's all one piece. The carving's all one piece. Okay, this is American chestnut. And this is my initial style of the bird standing on the base. Now I started putting glass eyes in them, but everything else is natural except for the sprayed on polyurethane to protect it. This is a red-breasted merganser, male red-breasted merganser. This is also American chestnut, an old beam. You can see nail hole.
Why do you select American chestnut for?
Because the wood is beautiful. It's special because I'm working with the American Chestnut Foundation, and we are working to breed trees that will be resistant to the blight fungus that killed almost all of them around the turn of the century. It started in New York and it spread through the Appalachians and killed billions of American chestnut trees. They were the most dominant tree in the eastern forest, and they were the largest also, called the redwood of the East. And the wood is just beautiful, and it's also very useful for the main reason is, besides being pretty, it is rot resistant. So there are cabins and fences and sheds and barns that were made out of American chestnut over 100 years ago, and they're still standing without any paint or treatment. Now this is my latest style, where I leave part of the carving of the original piece of wood. So you can see this was an old beam, and the bird was in the wood. Now when I do this, it lets me bring a branch out, so the bird can now be standing on a branch. It's a more natural than the bird standing just on the bait. On the ducks, just like this one, the head is a separate piece. And I do that because I want to turn the head a little bit, and I want the grain to go in the direction of the beak for strength. And there's a steel post in here. If you leave a log on the ground, see like the logs are lying on the ground out in the woods, eventually, after many years, they crumble and turn into humus. When the fungi enter the wood, they move minerals around and they make patterns in the wood. The wood is still hard, but those patterns are very, very pretty. I do these wall hangings with nut hatches.
I was going to ask you about that, yeah.
See, there's a hanger on the back. And in fact, I have a branding iron. This is an old fence post, part of it. And I put nut hatches on it. See, and it has a hanging arrangement on the back. Because I love wood.
Yeah. And
my name is Carver. It's in my genes. I have to do it. See, all of my career as a physicist, everything had to be exact. Everything had to be calculated. When I sit down and do this carving, it's all freeform. I'm just sitting there doing, it's creative in another way. And people think, well, wait a minute, you went from being a scientist to being a wood carver, an artist. Gee, left brain, right brain transition. And my answer is no. Both science and art are creative. This is American chestnut from an old post, from a shed. And again, it's a vase. These are some of the, when I do an art show, for example, I'll put these in it to display. There's also, this is another example of one of my carvings. I do a fair number of these. I saw an old vase, I shouldn't say old, I saw a ceramic vase that had this shape. Interesting, free-form shape. And I liked it because the different curvatures bring out the grain patterns. This is black walnut, and this is my intermediate pattern. See, I was trying to, instead of them just standing on the base, I brought up a form that went out and became a perch. But now I would leave more of the log That's my current style, is to leave even more of the log there and bring the perch out. This is all American chestnut, and the blight fungus that kills the trees causes cankers. And the cankers, the tree tries to grow scar tissue, or callus tissue it's called, to heal the cankers, and usually it can't grow it fast enough. But it leaves the wood all kinds of distortions, like you see here, that are very pretty. I usually wear one of these hats. This isn't the second one. And so if I walk away from my booth and somebody asks the neighboring booth, you know, where I am, they'll say, oh, look for the guy with the cowboy hat, or with the Australian, this is an Australian hat.